So yeah, that able to change off and down. Now as you can see, I've got to do remove them 10. So anyway, let's get it set. Good morning, people. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. Half the week has gone. Well, we have got a 2017 Discovery Sport, which is having a full service. But the first thing I'm going to be doing is putting a little bit of launch, advanced engine flush, straight in this engine, and I'm going to leave it ticking over while I'm doing all my other checks. Now this stuff is brilliant. Now after I've put that engine flush in, what we're going to be doing is coming in the vehicle, getting that engine started and leaving it run for about 10, 15, 20 minutes while we're doing all our little bits of checks. Now I'm in the interior. What I'm going to be doing is making sure that all the lights are working as they should. All the washers, that's the back one, that's the front. Make sure the wipers are clearing the screen correctly, and we're going to go around all the interior, make sure the air conditioning working, all the buttons and switches are working correctly, making sure the doors open from the inside, and also the seat belts are working correctly. Now while I'm in the vehicle, it would be rude not to do a full diagnostic report on the vehicle. Now this car has got no lights on it whatsoever, but we have got a couple of fault codes in there, one being a cylinder 3 glow plug circuit. We can also address this to the customer, but before we do, I'm going to create a report, save it, and print it off. Now you are going to see throughout this video why I call this the ultimate service tool. Now I'm outside the vehicle. What I'm going to be doing is making sure that all the lights are on. I'm going to go around them all and make sure everything's working, giving everything a little bit of a tap. Also the wing mirrors, make sure they're nice and secure, and we're going to go around all the vehicle, around all the corners, and make sure that all the trims and all the doors are opening and closing from the outside, and going around the back and checking the rear lights. Now we've still got the vehicle running, we've got the vehicle up in the air, and what we're going to be doing with the engine running, we're going to be checking all the fuel system and coolant systems for leaks, and we're going to be working our way around checking all the rubber gaiters on the steering, suspension, ball joints, the inner side of the brake disc. So we'll be working our way around checking the condition of the exhaust system, making sure that all them hangers and brackets, everything is spot on. Once we've finished underneath, for now we need to drop the vehicle back down, switch ignition off, and just come into this top left hand corner here and just back the oil filter housing off, or the oil filter cup, just so all that oil and air drips down into the sump. Now that vehicle is put back straight up in the air, and we need to get our lovely little receptacle, remove our 30mm in the sump, and let the oil flow out. Now what I'm going to do now that's slowed down a little bit, I'm going to drop it down, and then we can raise the car, lower the car down to working height, so we can get all these wheels off. Now before we go ahead and take the wheels off, what we're going to be doing is give them a shake side to side, up and down, checking the sidewalls for lumps, bumps, cracks and splits and one thing and another, and also the central tread of the tyre as well. Beautiful. Now after them wheels have been removed, we can go ahead now and have a close inspection of the brakes. You can also give them a check with your brake pad gauges just to measure the thickness, and they're perfectly okay. We can check now the shock absorbers, the springs, make sure any cracks, breaks, anti-roll bar links, steering rack boots, everything like that, and also little things like this that haven't been clipped in when it's had brake pads replaced, so we can plug that in. Looks a little bit tight, that, like a guitar string. And we're going to repeat that process on all four corners of the vehicle, checking all suspension components, brake pipes, all little bits of wiring loom that's secured neatly, make sure that there's nothing hanging off. Right, now let's get back to this 601, and what we're going to be doing. All these modern vehicles now, they've all got TPMS sensors. Now this is something you don't have to, this is something that I like to do. Now they've all got little batteries in there. Now this tool will not only tell you the pressure, it'll tell you whether the batteries are in a good, healthy condition. What we're going to do, hold it up to the TPMS sensor itself, click activate. And once it's read the chip inside, it'll go bling. What it should do. There we go. And inside there, that tells all the information, the pressure, 31.32 psi, 18 degrees, and the battery status is normal. And again, once we finish doing what we need to do, we can print it off and give it to the customer for their records. That is now the vehicle with all the wheels back on, We put a new sump plug in it, a new oil filter around the back here. Just going to put some oil in it now, but this does take 6.5 litres. So I've already put 5 litres in. I've now got to put one of these and half again. Now once that engine oil has been topped up, we can move around now to check all the other fluids. We're going to check the brake fluid now. It is hygroscopic and it will absorb water quicker than a rich tea biscuit. So we're going to give it a check now, and that is perfect. Probably next year it's probably going to want doing. Now let's move around to the coolant. We're going to check the strength of the antifreeze, and as you can see through the refractometer, if a lot of you have never seen through there, that blue line is the strength, and we are about minus 40, minus 45. I had to look myself, but I can't see through my GoPro. Now let's move around to the air filter. Get your little Henry, or if you've got an airline, and give it a good cleaner-rooney in there. This one was full of leaves and acorns and all sorts. But yeah, we're going to get that air filter slapped in. Now all the levels are checked. Before I change the fuel filter, I'm going to start the car up so I can get the correct oil level. Now before I start it, I'm going to jump back onto the 601 and we're going to be doing a battery test. Now I've already inputted it into the machine, and this will tell us instantly whether this battery is any good or not. And here we go, we have got a good battery, and again, save report. And we can print it off for the customer, for the records. Right, well, we are back inside the vehicle now, and we were back on the 601. I've reset the service light, and I've also actuated the lift pump in the tank to purge all the air out of the fuel system. So now, with a little bit of luck, we can get it started. Clear that bonnet open message. We've got no warnings, no service light. Everything is hunky-dory. Now I've started the vehicle, the oil level is now perfect, and we've gone ahead and changed the fuel filter. So I'm going to jump back in the car now, reset the service light and prime that fuel filter. Now after we've finished with everything underneath the bonnet and we're happy with everything, all we've got to do is give these plastic covers a little bit of a cleaner-rooney. Now there's one thing, when you get your vehicle serviced, you don't really see any difference because it's only filtered and stuff. But at least if we give it a bit of a clean, you can see something has been done. So let's get them cleaned. Now doesn't that just look a little bit better and a little bit more presentable? Right, let's get the vehicle off the ramp and then we can carry out the cabin filter replacement. Now the cabin filter on these is located in the passenger footwell, just underneath the plastic cover. Be careful when you're pulling it out at the back there, just in case you don't knock any wires, because you don't want any faults coming up. And we can get the brand new one in, but before we do, we're going to get a little bit of aircon refresh. We're going to spray it directly into the heater matrix itself. Now one of the last jobs is we're going to go around all the doors and door hinges and locks with a little bit of clear grease. This is Launch Power Loop Plus, absolutely insane stuff. We're going to get everything a nice little coating. Now I see it all the time on all these cars, people are using white grease. Don't, because it looks absolutely horrific. And there you go, with a little bit of magic now, that car is all finished off. We've checked the tyre pressures, even though we checked it with the TPMS. Torqued the wheel nuts up, greased all the door locks, done all the filters, checked all the levels, and everything is hunky-dory. Now this car should go to the next 10,000 mile without any major hiccups. But we have advised on one tyre, and rear discs and pads are getting a little bit close. But anyway, hope you've enjoyed the video. Let's get it sent.